Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. My name is Cristin. I am the mom of two little boys, my youngest being 2.5 months old, and this is my 2 months postpartum update. So I'm like way late on making this video. I definitely meant to make this at like my 6-week mark. Didn't happen, obviously. Like, let me tell you what, adjusting to having 2 kids has been an adventure. I wouldn't say it's necessarily been rough, but when it comes to finding time for filming and editing YouTube videos, that has been hard to do. They keep me on my toes. But here we are, finally making an update on everything postpartum related to me. So, what do we want to talk about first? I don't know. My healing process, I did have a C-section along with a tubal ligation. I'm not sure I'm the best person to make a video on tubal ligation, though maybe I will when it is in regards to a C-section one, if you guys are interested. But I feel like everything went really smoothly. I feel like my heal time for everything was pretty much, the same. As far as like healing from the tubal ligation and healing from my C-section, I feel like it all kind of went hand in hand. I'd say by the end of week 2, I was pretty much feeling back to normal. I know that's like an exception to the rule a lot of times with C-sections. With my first C-section, I went through like 24 hours of labor before having my C-section, and it took me weeks to recover from that. That was rough. However, recovering from a planned C-section in my experience was pretty much a breeze. I mean, it wasn't fun. Having babies isn't fun. Recovering from having babies isn't fun, whether you have it vaginally or C-section planned or unplanned. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna take some time. It's not gonna be fun. But doing it from a planned C-section was so much easier than I could have possibly imagined. And part of that could be because I had such a hard delivery with my first child that my body was just like, I had already pushed past the limit. You know what I mean? Like, I've already done it. I've already been past the limit. And so going easier and just having a planned C-section was just a lot easier for me to recover from. And maybe that's just what it comes down to, is that my body's already done way worse. So recovering from something not as bad was easier. I don't know. But planned C-section all the way, highly recommend it. It's the way to go, in my personal opinion. Yeah, so I was up walking around within the first couple of days. I had to, really. I think within the first 24 hours. By the end of the first week, I was feeling pretty good. I'm still a little sore. Not right now. Like, I was still a little sore at the end of the first week. Like, laughing hurt, coughing hurt, that kind of stuff. But, like, I could get up. I could take care of my kids. Things were going fairly well. I was going out to town and doing stuff, which, I mean, I had to walk slow. And I had to push a shopping cart for a little bit of support just because my abdomen was sore. And being out in town for too long, like, I couldn't do too much, no heavy lifting. I couldn't be out in town for too long, or I just get too tired or like too sore. But in comparison to my last delivery, like, that was leaps and bounds ahead of what I was with my first kid, because I was like hauled up in bed for like 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, that was pretty smooth. Within like week 4, I was outside doing yard work. Overdid it, but I was still out there doing yard work, which was pretty crazy. So yeah, things were recovering pretty quickly. I didn't really notice much difference between my tubal ligation and my C-section as far as pain and recovery went. I did have some mild cramping that was higher up, around where my like ovaries would be at, fallopian tubes, I should say, which are now gone. But other than that, which was very mild in my experience, it wasn't very bad. It wasn't any more than menstrual cramping. Everything went pretty well hand in hand, and I didn't really notice any difference between the two. You can see my cat. As far as my hormones went, I did suffer with postpartum depression this go around. I was very, very, very blessed and lucky that it only lasted in total about 4-ish weeks or so. It didn't kick in with me until like week 3. I know a lot of times they'll say it happens around week 2. For me, it was week 3. That was the same way it happened with my firstborn, which my firstborn postpartum experience was completely different from my secondborn, but both kicked in around week 3. I have a whole video talking about that. If you want to check it out, I'll link it down below. But I'm in like a 100% better mind space than I was. I'm not dealing with the depression or any of the stuff I was dealing with. It was just like a weight lifted. Like, my heart goes out to anyone who struggles with it for like long term. Like I couldn't imagine. That was rough, and I couldn't imagine doing it for months on end. I was very, very lucky. It lasted 4 weeks for me. Also with hormones, acne everywhere. Like I'm still having acne like I'm getting pimples on my legs, on my stomach, on my arms, on my face, on my butt. They're just like popping up everywhere like a teenager again. Also in regards to all of that kind of fun stuff, when it came to my first menstrual cycle, I skipped June entirely. I had my baby in May. I bled for nearly 6 weeks, but it wasn't that bad. I know, like, it sounds like it's going to be like some horrible experience. Really, it's just like a long period. In my personal experience, everybody is different. Both of my kids, after about week 2, I went back to wearing tampons. I know they tell you not to do that, so like, don't take it from me. You do what you got to do. You know, make that choice on your own. Don't take it from me. Actually, I think this go around I had to wait like 3 weeks because it was a bit heavier. However, I'll right back to it pretty quickly. Definitely don't recommend that if you've had a vaginal delivery. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Things are way different down there if you've had a vaginal delivery versus a planned C-section. But I went back to tampons pretty quickly. Bleeding was heavy for like the first week, and then it just kind of went back to normal, and it got progressively lighter to where it was more like just spotting, and it just wouldn't stop. Wouldn't stop spotting. But I mean, in total, I think it was about 4 to 6 weeks, somewhere in that time frame. So skipped my cycle for June entirely, but I bled into June a little bit, like the first week or so, because I had my son May 10th, so you can do the math there if you feel like it. But I did have my first official cycle in July, and that was way different from any cycle I've ever had. Even after having my firstborn. After my firstborn, my cycles, when they came back, just kind of went back to how they had always been before. Not with this one, with baby number 2. Like, oh my gosh, like Niagara Falls. It all lasted me about 3 days, but I could not stand up without it coming down my legs. Like, way TMI. I know. I'm sorry. My apologies. But it was crazy heavy. But only lasted 3 days. So there was that. My normal 7. So, but I don't normally bleed that heavy either. So I guess you're good with your back. I don't know. Other than that, I guess when it comes to my body overall, I feel fairly recovered. I'm not sore or hurting. I lost all the baby weight. I gained in total, like, I think like 32 pounds if I'm correct. And I've already dropped it down to my pre-pregnancy weight. And thankfully I've stayed there so far, and I think maybe even lost a little bit. Fingers crossed. I don't have a scale. I got rid of that years ago. It stressed me out more than it needed to, so I got rid of it, and I judge all that based on clothing sizes and how I'm feeling. But I know that I've been more active and eating less, and I really do think I'm starting to lose some weight, noticing it in my clothes. So yeah, all of my original clothes fit me again, and yeah, with my firstborn, like, I dropped all my weight from him, and then I turned around and gained it all back from having him. So technically I'm at my starting weight from having my first. But I was at that weight for having my second, and I gained 30 pounds, and I lost it all, and I've kept it off so far. We're 2 months out, and I haven't put it back on, so that's a plus. Yeah, this is what I'm looking like 2 months postpartum. I don't think I'm any worse for wear. You know, my belly's still a little saggy, but that's what happens when you have kids, right? I mean, it kind of happened for my firstborn. Honestly, my stomach didn't get any worse for my second, but he was up really high in breech, and he never dropped because I never went into labor with him. So I think that kind of prevented my stomach from getting any more saggy, which is fine by me. So yeah, that's just what I look like 2 months postpartum. Yeah, I mean, I look like I did before I got pregnant with baby number 2. Things haven't really changed. Hair is still growing. I'm still taking my prenatal vitamins. I have a prescription, like a couple more months on it, so I'm going to keep taking it, and I might re-up it. I haven't decided, but I just love how it makes my hair grow, it makes my nails grow. I feel like it makes my skin look better. Even though it's been going bonkers with acne, I still feel like my skin looks glowy and healthy, if that makes sense. So I take it for that reason, and it's free at Meijer, so it's cheaper than going out and buying those like hair, skin, and nail vitamins. So that's everything for my 2-month postpartum update. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Make sure you give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you've not already. And I hope to catch you in my next video.